Greetings, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are as you connect with us today. And welcome to the Regional Fair Trade Schools Interaction Day. This is an initiative by the World Fair Trade Organization, Africa and Middle East. My name is Nzuki Sosiko, and I am super honored to be your facilitator today. With me, I will be joined by young advocates from all over our regions in Africa. In representation, we will have Kenya, we will have Ethiopia, we'll have South Africa, and we'll also have Zimbabwe and Cameroon. I am sure we are in for a jam-packed day where our young advocates will be taking us through how we go about ending child labor, understanding what child labor is, and being able to differentiate it in terms of it and child work, which is part of our daily lives. So, without further ado, I would like to call on one of our first representatives in the Young Advocates groups that we have today. I'll call on a school called the St. Austin's Academy, all the way from Kenya. I would like them to give us a short introduction, tell us why they're here and what they're looking forward to learning and giving to us on this day. Thank you very much, St. Austin's. Take it away.
Hi, this is St. Austin's Academy, Nairobi, Kenya. We believe the hashtag end child labor is important because no child should be deprived of a future or an education, put into physically difficult and challenging situations to fuel an economy. Today, we hope to learn more about child labor, not just as ourselves as a country, but other countries, to grow on our perspectives and find a working solution to end it. Thank you.
With that energy alone, I am sure we can see already what we are in for. Thank you very much for that very bubbly and energetic introduction, St. Austin. Without further ado, we'll move on to our friends all the way in South Africa. That is the Charleston Hill Primary School. Please take it away with your introduction. Tell us who you are, why you are here, and what you're looking forward to giving and getting from us here today.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. The Green Primary School in South Africa. We are the only free school in Paarl. But is important because children are important. It empowers young children that are being deprived of their childhood, education, and potential to stop being abused. Thank you. Set the children free. No more working hard. They should learn to just be free. They should learn to just be free. No
All
more
right, no,
slavery.
as we can see, Charleston Hill Primary School from South Africa is also hyped up. The energy is contagious. I felt like they could go on a bit longer with their jingle there, but as we know, we have a lot to go through. Charleston Hill, thank you very much. Without further ado, let's swiftly move to our friends all the way in Cameroon. That will be LT Abeloa School. Please go ahead with your introduction. Tell us why you're here and what you're looking forward to giving and getting from us today.
Hi, my name is Nonkara Jambed. I, I am a student of the Technique of Eboloba in lower seat management. The term is important to us because no child must be done in a worker before his age. Thank you.
All right, Cameroon is in the house. Yeah, that is felt. That is felt. Thank you very much for that. Let us move on to our friends in Ethiopia. Introduce yourself. That would be Aisha from Ethiopia.
Hi. Um, so in Cambridge Academy, Ethiopia, we believe that every child deserves to have the chance to go to school and be successful in life.
All right, that is short, concise, and to the point, and they are here for business as well. Thank you very much. Last but not least, we also have other friends from Ethiopia. That would be Elsabet. Please go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us what you're looking forward to giving and getting from us today. All right. It seems that our friends at Elsabet might have their mics muted. Perhaps our technical team can just look into assisting us there. If not, you can check on your screen, Elsabet, to ensure that you're unmuted so all our friends can hear you around the world.
I'm so sorry, I just unmuted it. Thank you. My name is Elsabit. I am from Ethiopia, and me and Aisha will be representing Cambridge Academy. And we think the topic in child labor is important because children should be free to learn, play, and enjoy their childhood and not be forced to work. Child labor takes away their chances to get an education and grow up healthy and have a better future. So, from this meeting today, we are expecting to learn more from other schools, and that's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That would conclude all our participants today. That would conclude all our participants today. There is five schools that have been introduced to us. I'll be immediately moving on to our first activity of the day, our business of the day. Now, as I said at the beginning, this is looking at child labor versus child work, which is very important to distinguish. And I am sure our advocates, young advocates today, will do a great job while having fun in education, in educating us as well to look out for the very minute or seemingly minute differences, but very important ones. Our activity one will have us go into depth, trying to put some meat into the bones, removing ourselves from the theory, and actually have our advocates tell us their story. This activity will be spearheaded by three of our participating schools, which I will call at any point now. They will take us into their confidence, tell us their story, their interaction with child labor, and then we'll be able to move on ahead. This time, I'll start with our friends in South Africa. That will be Charleston Hill Primary School. If they could come up and take us, usher us into activity one, which is them telling us their story. Go ahead, Charleston Hill Primary School.
Is your mic on?
Good morning, everyone. I'm a learner of Charles Mill Primary and will be representing breaking the chain of child labor. Statistics. Child labor is a significant issue in South Africa with approximately 15.0% of children between the ages of 5 and 14 involved in some form of child labor, totaling around 1,559,791 children. This number is alarming and it's crucial to understand the factors contributing to this problem. Thank you.
If we could just kindly get assistance from the Charleston Hill Primary School technical team, our young advocate is waiting and itching to take us through his story of the end child labor discussion. So hopefully our Charleston Hill Primary School technical team is attending to that so that our advocate, young advocate, doesn't burn with that he'd like to take us through. In the interim, I do not know. I think I will revert back to Charleston Hill, perhaps while they look into that technical glitch for us, and immediately check and move to St. Austin. St. Austin's Academy. I will move to you guys. Let us uh, 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 take us into your confidence, take us into your story, and then we'll be able to come back to Charleston Hill Primary School so that we don't find ourselves being stuck on time as well. St. Austin's Academy, are we ready? Please take us through the activity one, which is telling us your story, and hopefully in the interim, our Charleston Hill Primary Technical team will be sorting that out for our young advocates. Please go ahead, Saint Austin.
Hi, my name is Aisha Winner from St. Austin's Academy, and under Activity 1, tell us your story. I have prepared for us a speech. Why should they suffer? What is child labor? The term child labor can easily be misused and even abused, as explained by International Labor Organization ILO. Whether or not particular forms of work can be called child labor, whether a particular form of work can be called child labor depends on the work and hours that the child puts in. Child labor does not have a set definition. It varies from country to country, border to border, as do the reasons that children are subjected to it. From having to take on the responsibility of helping the family through financial hardships, poverty, or the psychologically draining and daunting task of supporting an ill caregiver. The list goes on. Regardless of the country or regions, roughly 160 million children are subjected to child labor globally at the beginning of 2020 alone. 160 million. Nearly 1 in 10 children is subjected to child labor worldwide, with some forced into hazardous working conditions through trafficking. Kenya is no different. 18.5 or 1.3 million children engage in child labor across the country, and if anything, it's getting worse. As child trafficking for domestic work, forced labor, and sexual exploitation is on the rise. The National Council of Children's Services, NTCS, estimates that around 17,500 Kenyans are trafficked annually, of which 50% are likely to be minors. The types of labor that children are being exposed to is nothing new. If it's not farming cattle, then it's harvesting stimulant drugs such as Mira. If not them, then it's working mind-numbing long hours in quarries under the scorching sun. And if it's not them, then it's child marriage, slavery, and sexual exploitation. These statistics make the situation seem less grave than it actually is. These are not just statistics, no numbers on a chart. These are children who have been taken from their homes and had their dignity stripped and forced to work like dogs. These are children between the ages of 5 and 15, younger than all of us in this room here today. Children who have been taken advantage of, exploited of, and dying as we speak. But it doesn't end there. If the rape and mentally debilitatingly long hours are not enough, children in Kenya are victims to trafficking that leads them to becoming child soldiers in countries like Somalia. Hundreds of boys and young men are being herded into trucks which are covered in heavy canvases and driven through the night to become child soldiers in war. War, which is one of mankind's greatest atrocities, with its effects haunting not only the men who fight in it, but the countries and nations where they occur for generations to come. This is the reality of life for Kenyan children. Even after children grow out and escape child labor, their struggles do not end. One key characteristic of child labor is that it takes a child away from the education, leaving the child with physical and mental scars. Children who survive child labor in Kenya are more often than not unable to cope with their trauma or adjust to their new lives. A 5-year-old child who escapes the vicious and cruel industry that is child labor at the age of 19 will not be able to adjust. They have had their entire childhood stolen of them, been robbed of an education and even the most basic forms of social interaction. And that is the reality of hundreds of thousands of survivors. They have no future. It's been taken and destroyed by a capitalistic, power-hungry system that they had been forcibly brought into when they were too young to know what was being done. Fundamental years of their development, not only as a person, not only as a growing child, but an individual. This time where they discover who they are, what they want to be, their likes and dislikes, they spend digging in a quarry. Why should they suffer? Why should a child just like you or me get sexually exploited? Why should a child be deprived of education? Why should a child have to grow up with scars, physical or mental, that will haunt them till the day they die? Child labor is not a problem that we as a country face alone. It is not a new or an experimental uprising industry. It's been around for longer than this country has had independence. We cannot undo the past, or change what has happened, but you can bring an end to it. An end to cycles of abuse, suffering, and fear, protecting children from predatory practices. If not for those who currently suffer, then to stop others from having to bleed. Thank you. My colleague Frida will now be presenting a poem.
Hi, my name is Frida from St. Austin's Academy. I'm a member of the Fair Trade Schools. Today's theme is Advocacy Against Child Labor, and this is Activity 1. Tell us your story. Despite Kenya being an industrially developing country, child labor is still a pertinent issue. Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, KNBS, found that 8.5% of children, or 1.3 million, are engaged in child labor. And after the pandemic, many families had no other choice. These children are forced to work in various sectors, ranging from manual labor to sexual exploitation to hawking and begging on the street. Janusz Korczak, a Polish Jewish teacher, pediatrician, and author, was a trailblazer in advocating for children's rights. His revolutionary views on children being deserving of the same dignity, respect, and recognition as adults have had a monumental impact on today's understanding of children's rights, and his ideology laid a foundation for the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Every day, millions of children are forced into labor they simply cannot bear. The likelihood they will ever receive an education and break free of the painful cycle of poverty diminishes with every month, every day, every hour. This poem is based on the current child labor situation, not just in my country, but all over the world. It is also based on Korczak's principles, and particularly one of his quotes, "Children are not people of tomorrow, they are people today." In light of this, I present to you, today a fragment, tomorrow a whole. There's rock. The quarry is a gaping hole in the mountain face. The kind where there's always the risk a falling boulder will take your little life, but what does it matter? You are nothing but a waste of space. A mouth that always needs to be fed with meat and milk and honey, nourishment which imagination cannot replace. There is time. Hours billow like the black powder from the hammer, clang and clatter against the rock. Will you make it stop? The aggravating sounds of a half-grown scream. Close your eyes and pretend that the stones are building blocks. And the incessant sobbing, don't you realize you could cry a river and an ocean and still never escape the landlord's knock? There is envy. Look at the privileged ones running around the street with a bike and a ball. Don't they have it all? Their problems include who will count in hide and seek and how much time is left before mother's dinner call. Come inside and eat to your fill, eat and laugh and laze about your hallowed halls. There is school. The books and the bags are collecting dust. The choice is between food on the table and a cap and a gown and a graduation. But are these ones too not deserving? When will these sons receive an education? And how long will these daughters be pawns in the game of a corrupt nation? Their futures are an ocean, and our leaders are just surfing. But most of all, there is youth. Remember that, I know you have not forgot, that a child is meant to run and play and never taste the bitter tang of afterthought, and squeal and scrape their knees because they went out in shorts when their mothers told them not. And have a carefree heart, little and bright, before the world and thought and sensibility settle like a dark rain cloud, before you begin telling lies to yourself and not the truth out loud. Are you not allowed, as those who have not yet grown into the big clothes, as those who still need someone to wipe a runny nose? Are you not to be protected from the thorn and loved with the rose? And yet, here you are, backbent with work. Are you not worth more than the hammer in your hand? Did you not have the chance to be more than this, not to slouch, but to stand? The last chapter of your story has been written before it even begun. A flower, a tree, dead and rotten before you had the chance to touch the sun. There's rock. The quarry is a gaping hole in the mountain face. The kind where there's always the risk a falling boulder will take your little life. But what does it matter? You are nothing but a waste of space. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. If you think that today you're going to exit this session the same way that you came in, you have another thing coming. That is an excellent display of the fusion of literary and artistic content in activism to drive a narrative. Very well done, St. Austin's Academy. That was very moving poet and speech. Thank you very much. If I can just get an indication, please, from Charleston Hill Primary School, if they are ready to take it away and resume where they had left off with regards to their activity one, which is telling us their story. Charleston Hill Primary School in Paarl, all the way in South Africa. Over to you guys.
is contributing to child labor, poverty. Many families rely on children to supplement their income, leading to child labor. Lack of access to education. Some schools charge fees, making education unaffordable for many. Vulnerability to exploitation. Children are often subjected to the worst forms of child labor, including forced begging, commercial sexual exploitation, and use in illicit activities. Sections where child labor is perfect. Children work on farms exposed to hazardous conditions. Services. Children are involved in domestic work, street wedding, and food services.
Yes, no, just can continue.
Services. Children are involved in domestic work, street wedding, and food services. Challenges that children are facing. Children involved in child labor face numerous challenges, physical challenges, injuries or illnesses from hazardous working conditions, exposure to toxic substances or chemicals, long working hours leading to fatigue and exhaustion, poor nutrition and health care, risk of accidental injuries and or death. Emotional challenges, emotional and psychological challenges, trauma, stress and anxiety, loss of childhood and playtime, separation from family and friends, low self-esteem and self-worth, fear of exp- exploitation and abuse. Educational challenges. Limited or no access to education. Difficulty combining work and school. Poor academic performance due to fatigue. Lack of skills and knowledge for opportunities for personal growth. Social challenges, social isolation and loneliness, stigma and shame associated with child labor, limited social skills and relationships, vulnerability to exploitation and abuse, difficulty integrating into society.
Education and vocational training, economic empowerment for families, social protection and support services, policy reforms and enforcement, community engagement and awareness.
Government efforts to address child labor. The South African government has established laws and regulations to prevent child labor. The National Child Labor Program of Action aims to eliminate child labor. Social programs such as the Child Support Grants and Foster Care Grants provide financial assistance to families.
Organizations working to address child labor in South Africa include UNICEF South Africa, Save the Children South Africa, Childline South Africa, the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, Department of Social Development, which is under the South African government. Sources: International Labour Organization, UNICEF, World Health Organization, South African government reports, non-governmental organization which is abbreviated as NGO, focused on child labor. We gotta break the chains and set the children free. Thank you.
We gotta break the chains, set the children free. No more working hard, they should learn. learn to just be free. They should learn to just be free. No more factories, no more hurt, no more pain. Everything deserves to dance in the rain. Yo, listen up, this is the drugs. Kids working day and night to stay broke. Listen to, listen out and fight on the street and struggle and the inside. No more factories, no more hurt, no more
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Thank
pain.
you. Thank you very much to our friends all the way in South Africa, Paul. That is Charleston Hill Primary School, closing us off with a very fiery jingle there. As I said, it's art and literally these people are taking us through something here. Without further ado, let's check on our friends in Helena. Helena will be coming in from Zimbabwe to take us through activity one, which is them taking us into their confidence and telling us their story. Helena, schools, take it away.
Well done. Yes.
All right, we might not be
Hello.
getting any audio from Helena at the moment. Let's just give them a few seconds. They might be preparing a special for us to take us through the activity one. Helena, just do know that it is all up to you
Hello.
right now. The stage is yours. We are ready when you are.
Can you hear us from Elena?
Loud and clear. You are audible, Helena. Take it away.
All right. The kids are preparing and we'll be walking in shortly.
All right, not a problem. Go ahead.
They're waiting for the kids.
Yes, Musa.
If we can, humblest apologies, if we can just get assistance from Helena School's technical team, we might be having a problem with the audio, and I'm assuming our friends in Helena Schools won't be able to be heard by other young advocates. Let's just test that, please.
Good day to you all. My name is
Lovely.
Brianna for. Good day to you all. My name is Brianna for, and I'll be your narrator for the play, as we'll be dramatizing child labor in the Zimbabwean perspective. Zimbabwe, a country known for its rich natural resources and spirited culture, holds a dark secret, which is the widespread exploitation of its most vulnerable citizens. Child labor, a common and complicated issue, affects over 1 million children in Zimbabwe, robbing them from their childhood education and future. From dangerous working in mines and farms to domestic slaves, young as 5 years old, are forced to work often in harsh conditions. Our play is about the Murray family, which is an extended type of family, as Mr. Murray takes care of Mr. Murray's late brother's children and his own. Due to economic hardship of Zimbabwe, Mr. and Mrs. Murray are unemployed, so they do
So they do piece jobs in farm to get wages to buy their basic needs. Sit back and enjoy the play.
Be a doctor one day.
School costs a lot of money, my child, and we cannot afford it.
Okay.
I think you worked enough. It's now time for me to give you your wages. Mr. Mari. Mrs. Mari. Amira. Tomorrow, everyone here at 5 a.m.
We need to buy mealy meal, onion, rice, and tomatoes.
Let me go and buy. Hi, I'd like to buy some things.
What do you want to buy?
Things like mealy meal, onion, and tomatoes.
But it's not enough.
Could I pay you back tomorrow?
Are you sure you're going to come with my money tomorrow?
Yes, I'm sure. I have brought home the things to cook the food. You can go and sleep now.
I think we are struggling to get enough money for our needs.
I agree. I think tomorrow everyone should work.
No, I don't want my siblings to work. I want them to go to school.
I am the father of this house. Do not tell me what to do.
Don't cry, my child. One day, everything is going to be all right.
Okay.
As much as Mr. and Mrs. Mari have been working with their oldest child, who is 16 years old, the earned wages are not enough for their survival. Unfortunately, they are left with no choice, but now the rest of the family, including the children who are 9 years old, joined in farm work, hoping they will get enough money to earn a livelihood.
Mom, I'm tired.
Mom, I'm hungry.
Mama, my head is aching. I want to go to school. I want to be a doctor one day.
But my children, we should work. We do not even have food to eat this night.
You are old enough to contribute. Everyone has a mouth. Every hand counts. I think you worked enough. It's now time for me to give you your wages. Mr. Mari, Kendra, Mufaro, Matifadza, Miss Mari, Amira, Kevin. Tomorrow, everyone here at work at 5 a.m. We have earned $10
to onion, tomatoes, and
Good afternoon, shopkeeper. I'm here to buy some things. I need salt, sugar, tea bags, and onions.
Your father owes me money. Yesterday he bought me milk. Go tell your father I want my money.
Father, the shopkeeper sent me back. He said the money is not enough, and he said I want my money back.
Okay, let me go negotiate with him. Hi, I'd like to buy some things.
What is your problem? Yesterday you told me you're going to come with my money. Now you want it tomorrow.
How much was it from yesterday?
It was $3.
Okay. I'd also like to buy these.
But it's not enough.
Feed my starving children.
This is the last chance.
I have brought home the things for us to cook.
We have seen how the cycle of the Murray family has been. Mr. Murray still owes the grocery owner, while on the other hand, he could not get enough money to take care of his family. My question to you, my fellow advocates, should we say Mr. Murray and Miss Murray were wrong by involving the children in working farm for them to earn a living? Or should we just label it as child labor? Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much. Wow, 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 wow. I am mind blown by that presentation by Helena. Thank you very much, Helena Schools. Without further ado, we'll also be bringing in our friends from Ethiopia who will be taking us through what they have prepared for our activity one. That would be Elsabet. Our friends from Ethiopia might have a joint activity sharing for activity one. Please take it away.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. So we will be reading a poem that's about child labor in Ethiopia. Uh, Me and I shall be reading it. Okay. The topic is childhood lost. In the globe, they say kids should be free to play, to learn, to simply be. International regulations are direct and bright. No youngling should toil by code and right. The promise is built across the world to shield each kid in every row. Ethiopia's legislations, they too decree, no youngling should labor but live carefree. Policies sing on rights and care, a future for each child to share. But underneath these rules, the reality we find, money still jilted, far behind. In farms where coffee saplings do grow, cubs work, their young faces show. The weight of sweat down to dusk, their palm too little, and the dry soil's musk. Cultivation leads this agonizing tale in rural fields where futures pale.
In metropolis too on streets they roam, fetching water a distance from home. Numbers exhibit from Algerian ground 60% where children abound. In urban areas, half that still, yet far quiet, many feel the bill. The impact profound, it takes their light. Forfeit education, no chance for flight. Their structures bend, their visions grow thin. A cruel cycle, they are captured within. War, security, hunger's war, subject children into labor's door. But hope is braved through every fear. If we execute, if we care, the laws prosecute with heart and might, deliver schools and beliefs to every height. Certainly, in each of our offsprings, our future gleams, a cosmos of laugh, love, and dreams.
Thank you. That's all we have.
Thank you. Thank you very much for our friends and the young advocates in Ethiopia. That was a joint venture of activism. Nice teamwork that we've seen play out there. Without further ado, we'll go on to our last but not least participants of the first activity, all the way in Cameroon. That would be Altia Beloa. If you can take us away into your activity one.
Good afternoon, everyone. The first, the first thing we are introducing to you is a song entitled "Our Life Matters." Here in our country, one of the main cause of child labor slash forced labor is the loss of one or two parents, and we sing to tell people that orphan boys matters, orphan boys count, other relative shouldn't turn them into slave. Listen this.
This is the story of many children. This is the story of many lives. Changed by the loves of our parents. Rising and singing this beautiful voice. Our lives matter, our lives count. We don't need to end up as slaves. Our voice matter, our voice count. Please join your hands together for a bright future. Our lives matter, our lives count. We don't need to end up as slaves. Our voice matter, our voice count. Please join your hands together for a bright future. This is the story of many children. This is the story of many lives. Changed by the loss of our parents. Rising and singing this beautiful voice. Our lives matter, our lives count. We don't need to end up as slaves. Our voice matter, our voice count. Please join your hands together for a bright future. Thank you.
Drama based on life experience, and it talks about child labor. It is the story of a young girl forced to sell bananas instead of going to school. But how does it start? Watch and understand the cause.
Oh my God! Mom! Since you left, I miss you so much. I cannot support. I need to go to school. Hey, what are you doing here? Are you going to the electricity? Yes, mom. Yes, mom. Electricity? Yes,
she is mine. You are dead. If the man is not our ruler, you and leave your mom with the tongue.
But I don't have a right to go to school like other children. I need to go to school.
You don't have right to go to school. You are yet to go, not to go to school. If you don't want to follow what I'm saying, you leave my house.
Please, mother.
Nonsense.
Please, mother. Banana. Please. And the last thing is a poem entitled Child Labor.
Little arms, little heart, forced to work day and night. No childhood, no play, no dream. Their future a heavy chain. They should run, play, learn, but they are condemned to work. Their hands scared, tired, their eyes dimmed without light. They work in mines, in factories field. They carry heavy loads, their right trampled, forgotten. Their childhood stolen, lost. There are the little slaves in an indifferent adult world, but it is time to cry out, to say no to this hell, to protect their rights and give them back their childhood. Let children be children, let their work be books, and let their dream be free. From every chain, every fear, then together we can change the world and make it better. So children can just be children. We thank you.
Thank you for watching. Our activities take is going to is end. Is end. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our young advocates all the way in Cameroon. As we conclude our activity one, the only thing that I have to say is our young advocates were able to take me through different realities virtually, all the way in Cameroon, Ethiopia, while I'm seated here. That was a stellar job from all our schools who represented in our activity one. That for me requires a breather to sift it all that in and take it all in and consolidate what our young advocates have been educating us on. I will ask that our technical team takes us through that much needed breather before we move on to our next activity. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a much needed breather there. And as I'm thinking, from what I've taken in on the first activity, I'd be amiss if I don't mention this. And by the way, our friends at Charleston Hill Primary School, if you can please just get yourself ready to finish off the jingle that I abruptly cut, because I'm realizing being so conscious of time may have robbed me of a jam that you guys have prepared. So if the people at Charleston Hill Primary School can get the young advocates ready for that jingle that they were presenting for us, because I think it would be an injustice if we don't hear that jingle. And while they are getting ready, I just wanted to give a summation of what I got. And I'd be amiss if I don't echo this very beautiful line that I got from one of our young advocates. Children are not people of tomorrow. Children are people of today. And that captures for me the essence of understanding the importance of early development of the mind of a human. And that involves a lot of play. So we stifle the imagination by robbing them of that chance. I am learning a lot today. I couldn't have thought of that if it wasn't for the gems that the young advocates were able to bring today. Can I get a sign from our Charleston Hill Primary School in Paul if they are ready to bless us with that jingle that I almost made a grave mistake of cutting?
Learn and just be free. They should learn and just be free. No more factories, no more hurt, no more pain. Every kid deserves to dance in the rain. Yo, listen up, this is a joke. Kids working day and night just to get broke. Listen school, listen games, listen out and fun. All the sweet and struggle under the blending sun. No more factories, no more hurt, no more pain. Every kid deserves to dance in the rain. Like running around the block, but it's like a neighbor working on the clock. Toys, no games, no school therapy. We gotta make a change. Let the freedom sing. We gotta break the chains. Set the children free. No more working hard. They should learn to just be free. They should learn to just be free. No more factories. No more hurt, no more pain. Every kid deserves to dance in the rain.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you very much. Another lesson learned from me, I guess. Um, they lead. They really lead. Thank you very much for that. And I humbly ask for your forgiveness for having cut you earlier on Charleston Hill Primary School. Thank you very much. Without further ado, we'll be going into our activity 2 for the day. Now, as we saw, our activity 1 had a lot to do with them bringing us virtually into their lives, their geographical spaces. What activity 2 will be showing us is that they too are able and capable of virtually traveling. Some of the research that they've done will be evident in the activity that has us advocating. This is our advocacy session by our schools. We'll have 3 participants for this particular activity, and I hope our young advocates are ready as I'll be randomly calling them in. Activity 2, advocacy session. They'll be taking us through what they think outside of their own immediate reality. Thank you very much for that once again. This time we will start off with our friends from Zimbabwe, young advocates from Zimbabwe, being Helena Schools. Please take it away and lead us into activity 2.
You guys, okay. The practice minute. When you talk, you look different. Right? But after you meet, your time to shine. Yes.
Good day to you all. My name is Kayla Ndoro, and today I would like to talk to you about child labor in DRC. In DRC, child labor is particularly known in the mining industry. People send their children to the mining industry because in the mining areas there's a huge case of poverty. So people send their children there in order for them to work and get some money. Most children there are exposed to toxic chemicals and physical harm. The cobalt mining industry produces 50% of the world's cobalt, and because of this, the children have to work long hours in these mines, resulting in sicknesses due to working in mines.
My name is Mayamiko Chimoyo, and I will talk about how we can end child labor. To end child labor in DRC, I think we should raise awareness of the challenges and opportunities to combat child labor. We can also spread awareness to towns and cities of DRC, educate others like our friends and families who live in DRC, and we can also help by enforcement. Other means to end child labor in DRC include declines in poverty and expansion of social protection, as well as improved access to school education, so that most of the children in DRC will be more educated and will know how to act when child labor is being performed. Most of the children in DRC are suffering from child labor, and the government can do better by spreading more awareness in the towns of DRC. The police and social security can play a role by making sure no one is performing child labor in DRC. Thank you.
My name is Ryan Machipisa, and I'll be picking up from where Maya left. To end child labor in DRC, I think people should strengthen law enforcement and policies, support NGOs providing education, vocational training, and providing economic assistance to families. Ways to end child labor are building student learning sectors, providing scholarships and materials, and promoting vocational training. Government could strengthen laws, improve healthcare and awareness. Policemen and women can investigate reports and rescue child laborers. The community can report cases and promote education to end child labor in DRC. Thank you.
My name is Kevin Kutivo, and I'm going to pick up from where Ryan left. To end child labor in DRC, a multifaceted approach is necessary involving governments, organizations, communities, and individuals. Causes of child labor are poverty, lack of education, social norms, and economic factors. Industries with high child labor are agriculture, textiles, mining, and construction. The government could consider policy reforms, enforcement, education, vocational training, social norms, and awareness. The police play a crucial role in combating child labor, like protection and support. Community leaders can raise awareness. Modern day influencers can fundraise and partner with brands. Thank you. We are going to recite a poem called The Silent Cry.
Shadowed halls where sunlight barred, children's voices whisper, scared. Our hands so small, we should play, but instead we are forced to sway, toiling tirelessly with eyes forlorn, our innocence forever torn. No laughter echoes in our hearts, only despair that tears us apart. Tiny fingers bleed from endless tasks, burdens far too heavy for our grasps. Our minds unfulfilled, our dreams denied. Slaves to greed, our spirits crucified. Our bodies frail, our spirits weep. For every toy a child so bears, a sky edge deep through endless years. Silent plea. As children suffer, society's decree. Our rights for help are met with scorn. Our rights ignored, our voices torn. But we must stand and break the chain and child labor's cruel reign. For every child, a precious soul deserves a life filled whole. Let education be our guiding star, and let our laughter fill the air. Together, we can break the chips and give us hope, a future verse. Thank you.
Just when I thought we couldn't get more fiery than how we started the first activity, Helena Schools takes us through that. Can I have St. Austin's Academy please prepare themselves for activity 2? With that, my takeaway is already the fact that all we will need to do going forth as adults for these young advocates is to affirm them and support them, echo their sentiments. They know what they are talking about. They mean business. They've done their research. They live the actual experience of what child labor is. With that, without further ado, I'd like to bring in St. Austin's. They are ready to take us into our activity 2, still within the theme of advocacy. Take it away, St. Austin's.
Hi, my name is Ivy Aseka from St. Austin's Academy in Nairobi, Kenya, and I will be presenting with Wanjiku Mukulia for the advocacy session. And the country that we have chosen to do today is Haiti. Presentation. Cut it to release the presentation. Please put the slides. Advocacy presentation.
St. Austin's Academy technical team, please be advised we are still getting good audio and feed. Just in case you are thinking around that, please be advised we are still getting good audio and feed from your side. Thanks.
Can you please release the presentation slide?
Let me just start again. My name is Ivy Aseka. I'm going to be presenting with Wanjiku Mukulia on the second activity, the advocacy session, and we are going to be covering child labor in Haiti. We're gonna go through what child labor is, the country focus, the problem and the policies, the solutions, steps to fixing it, and closing statements. What is child labor? Child labor is the exploitation of children through through any forms of work that interferes with their ability to attend regular school or is mentally, physically, socially, and morally harmful. Why Haiti suffers from child labor? Economical hardships is one of the most significant drivers of child labor in Haiti. Inadequate education infrastructure is a major problem. Many schools in Haiti are poorly equipped, underfunded, or inaccessible, especially in rural areas. Culture. In some Haitian communities, there is a long-standing tradition of sending children to work, especially in domestic work or restaurants. Children who live with their families other than their own often doing household chores in exchange for food and shelter. Natural disasters such as earthquakes, hurricanes, and floods, which can devastate communities and destroy livelihoods, trafficking and exploitation of children for labor, particularly as domestic workers, is a serious issue in Haiti. Gender. Girls are disproportionately affected by child labor, especially in domestic services or as restaurants. Gender norms may make girls more vulnerable to exploitation as they're expected to take on household chores or contribute to the family's economical survival. Policies. Minimum working age. The Labor Code establishes the minimum legal age for employment as 15, though it allows children aged 12 to 15 to work with parental consent and under conditions deemed appropriate. Restricted work for minors. Children aged 15, the first article of 339 of the Labor Code prohibits employing children under the age of 15 in any type of work. However, the law provides exceptions for children working in family-owned businesses or as apprentices in certain businesses. They are allowed to work, but they are restricted from engaging in particularly hazardous or exploitative jobs, such as mining, heavy industrial work, or night shifts. Haiti's labor code prohibits child labor and sets specific regulations regarding the employment of minors. I'm going to pass on.
Thank you, Ivy. I'm Anji from Korea. So effects of child labor. Effects of child labor include extreme bodily and mental harm and even death. Long-term health problems like respiratory issues and cancer. It can lead to slavery and sexual or economic exploitation. Increased risk for infectious diseases, including HIV, AIDS. It cuts children off from schooling and healthcare, restricting them their fundamental rights. And lastly, a lack of understanding how to properly function in a modern world, given a lack of education. Steps to end this child labor. Firstly, we need to strengthen legislation and enforcement, create and enforce strong law, set a minimum age for employment, regulate working conditions and prohibit child labor in hazardous industries, strict enforcement, ensure that labor laws are constantly enforced with penalties for those who violate them. 2, we need to raise awareness for not just how it happens, but why, and work on the root cause. 3, improve labor market conditions so adults can have a larger market and more wages to pay and have a steady household. 4, strengthen social safety nets. 5, improve child protection system. 6, empower communities. Suggestions. Firstly, invest in awareness programs, especially in rural areas. This has begun in Bangladesh. The IL's time-bound program aims to eliminate the worst forms of child labor by raising community awareness about its negative impacts and the importance of education. The outcomes of this have been community workshops and school outreach, increased enrollment rates, significantly reducing child labor and targeting parents. Secondly, what other countries have done this? Legislation and enforcement in Brazil, education initiatives in India, and community programs in Ethiopia. This is supported for vulnerable groups, communities-based intervention, and partnerships with NGOs. This is also include increased school enrollment, skill development, economic improvement, and empowered communities. In conclusion, ending child labor is a complex and long-term endeavor that requires all hands on deck. If you want to solve this issue, even the simplest one can change a life. It involves not only eliminating the conditions that force children to work, but also fostering an environment where children can thrive in education, safety, and well-being. Children must Be taught how to think, not what to think, by Margaret Mead. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, I'm stealing a lot of gems. Children must be taught how to think, not what to think. I won't waste any further time. I'll go back to our friends in South Africa. That would be Charleston Hill Primary School. Hopefully, they are ready to take us through their advocacy session captured in our activity 2. Charleston Hill Primary School, take it away.
Producers responsible for around 60% of the global cocoa supply. Latin America, countries like Brazil, Ecuador, and Peru are major players in the industry. Asia, Indonesia, and Malaysia also contribute significantly to cocoa production. Child labor concerns, particularly in West Africa, child labor in cocoa production has been a long-standing issue, prompting efforts for sustainable and ethical sourcing practices.
Efforts to address the problem. There are ongoing international efforts such as the Hagen Ingham Protocol signed by chocolate companies and governments aimed at reducing child labor in the cocoa sector. However, while progress has been made, the interest issue of poverty and inequality made child labor a persistent problem in the cocoa industry. Solving this issue requires a multifaceted approach, including improving farmers' income, enforcing labor laws, expanding access to education, and increasing corporate responsibilities and transparency in the cocoa supply chain. Thank you.
Strength and influence, child labor laws.
Strength and enforce child labor laws. Enforce existing laws. Ghana has laws that prohibit child labor, including the Children's Act of 1998 and provision in the Labor Act. However, stronger enforcement is needed to ensure compliance. Increasing inspections and holding businesses accountable for violations is crucial. Raise penalties. Increasing the penalties for those who exploit child labor, particularly in industries like agriculture, mining, and fishing.
Improve access to quality education. Make education more accessible. Providing free, compulsory, and accessible education for all the children, especially in rural areas, is key. When children have access to quality education, they are less likely to enter the workforce prematurely. Incentives for school attendance. Introducing school feeding programs and financial incentives for families to keep children in school can encourage attendance and reduce the economic pressure to send children to work. Thank you. Support for families, economic support for families. Many families in Ghana rely on their children's income to survive. Providing economic support such as microloans, skills training, and job creation programs for adults can help reduce their dependence on child labor. Introduce family support programs. Government and non-governmental organizations can implement programs that support families with income generation such as agricultural development or small business grants. Awareness. Raising awareness and change cultural practices. Community awareness campaigns. Many communities in Ghana view child labor as a necessity or a cultural norm. Raising awareness about the long-term harm of child labor and the benefit of education. Let's work together to stop child labor. Thank you.
That is Charles about. I'll definitely say without a doubt, they have captured the essence of fair trade schools and what the fair trade principles are all about in me being involved in the advocacy and the actual activism to end child labor. Thank you very much. Again, I think I'll definitely need a break. I will ask that our technical team take us through the interlude. Thank you once again, technical. Um, that did definitely assist me in digesting some of the gems that were brought by our young advocates. We will now be going into our activity three, which is our last activity for the day on the Interactions Day for Regional Fair Trade Schools. So, this particular section or particular activity will see our young advocates arm us as the people that they're educating to advocate and be activists along with them in ending child labor. So, what they'll be doing is presenting in debate a stance that is pro and a stance that is against, so that they equip us with some of the things that we may encounter when we advise people on what to do to assist in ending child labor. So I'd like to call upon our advocates to prepare themselves. As we know, we would have each school having a pro stance and an against stance. So when I call the school, I will call and clearly detail that please present the intro of your argument in this or that part of the argument. That is to say, you are going to be presenting your pro side or your against side. I hope I am clear, colleagues and young advocates. We'll go straight into it then. Our activity three, which is our debate for the day. Let us take it to St. Austin's. St. Austin's, all the way in Kenya. Our young advocates, are we ready? All right. So St. Austin's in Kenya will go ahead and present and kick us off in our debate for the day. Thank you. Go ahead.
Um, Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Flavia David. I'm from St. Austin's, Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm here to propose the motion that we should draw the line between child labor and child work. But first, we need to know the definition between both of them. So we need to know what is child labor. Child labor is, according to the ILO, the term child labor is often defined as work that deprives children of their childhood, their potential, and their dignity, and that is harmful for their physical and mental development. Whereas the term child work is when a child is given activities and tasks, usually that is performed at home to help with either family business or house chores in the house. This does not interfere with the child's education, physical or mental well-being. So first, I would like to start with the first point, which talks on child labor in Kenya. In Kenya, mostly usually rural areas, children are usually being taken to the child work, things such as helping in agriculture, with cattle, with taking care of cattle and cropping with sugarcane. In Kenya also, we talk about how children are usually being taken to work in the Kenyan Defense Forces, where the Somali federal state group involved in recruitment use their child soldiers. According to the key terms, responsibilities for eliminating child labor are underfunded, and labor is instructed and lacks the financial and human resources necessary for effectiveness in child labor laws. This is according to the U.S. Development of Child Labor Reports in Kenya, according to 2023 as the last updates. However, although we have child labor in Kenya, the U.S. Development of Labor Reports in Kenya states that Kenya has been improving in their child labor problems, which is usually turned into child work, and children from under 18 usually work 16 hours per day instead of more than that. And if it's more than that, then to become a low risk. Thank you.
Let me give you a hello. My name is Amani Jackie. Let me give you a quick story as I begin.
Imagine a young boy named Kofi from a rural village in East Africa. He's around 10 years old and he wakes up every morning at the crack of dawn to help his family on farm. Before you picture some Dickensian nightmare, let me clarify. Kofi isn't whipped in the fields or anything. His only task is to chase away the goats, which, if we're being honest, it's mainly him just yelling and waving his arms around in dramatic fashion. His grandmother says it's the most exercise he'll get all day, and Kofi is convinced he's the hero of the household. By lunchtime, Kofi is back, stuffing his face with ugali and samoyaki, one of our common dishes. His biggest concern is whether or not the goats will stage a coup against him on his napping. Does this sound like child labor or like a child contributing in a way that teaches him responsibility, builds skills, and let's be real, adds some humor to his day? Addressing the elephant in the room a little bit, where does contributing to the family end and child labor start? Here's where we draw the line. If a child is working to the point that they're missing out on their school, their health is compromised, or they're burdened beyond reason, that is child labor, plain and simple. According to UNICEF, in Kenya, over 1.3 million children between ages 5 and 17 are engaged in child labor, with the majority involved in agriculture and informal sectors. However, most of these cases cross the line of reasonable contribution, involving long hours of hazardous conditions. What we're advocating for, on the other hand, is light work or household contributions that are safe and properly balanced with education. When children help out, they gain a greater appreciation for the effort their parents put into providing for them. It's a bit like realizing that food doesn't magically appear in the fridge. This builds empathy and teaches kids that family is about supporting each other, not just passively receiving the benefits. In conclusion, we're not talking about turning children into workhorses. We're talking about giving them a few age-appropriate responsibilities, teaching them valuable life skills, and preparing them for the world beyond childhood. It's about learning to contribute without sacrificing education, play, or well-being. After all, the real world isn't going to wait until they're ready. So why not let them get a head start, one goal at a time? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nesta Wale Marwa. I'm a student at St. Austin's Academy in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm a representative for the World Fair Trade Organization. To conclude what my colleagues have said, child labor and child work are very distinct, where child labor is an abuse put on the child and that causes burden, stress, and anxiety, whereas child work is a form of giving a child responsibility and turning them into mature beings to head out into the world. Child work, on one hand, is very crucial and essential for a child creating their own backbone and a sense of responsibility and independence, where through tasks that are handed to them, they're able to create a sense of responsibility and know right from wrong, and helping them manage their time and understanding that it's not always playtime and it's not always time to eat, but also time to work. Whereas child labor, simply put, tells a child or communicates to a child that 24/7 they have to work, they have to do this, they have to do that, and not have any time to understand themselves, understand things around them, and on top of that, understand what is going on. Because 24/7, the people that you think that the other children that you think that are your friends are dying of diseases gotten from mines or other forms of place or other workplaces that children should not be exposed to. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maya. Representing World Press School Trade. As of 2020, approximately 160 million children engaged in child labor globally, making this an increase of 8.4 million in just 4 years. This marking figure means nearly 1 in 10 worldwide are engaged in child labor. A significant proportion of the world is hazarded, with 79 million children engaged in dangerous jobs and pose risks to their health and safety. In terms of
sectors, agriculture accounts for 70% of child labor worldwide, with children performing physical damage and obtain often dangerous tasks. All this data is obtained from UNESCO. Thank you. Next. Hello, my name is Ron Sam from School St. Austin, Nairobi, Kenya. I'm here to present, and I'm a member of fair trade students. Child labor is especially prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa, where poverty, population growth, and lack of social safety nets have contributed to the problem. Over 16.6 million additional children entered the workforce in this region in recent years. Asia, while also affected, has shown some progress. However, the impact of COVID-19 threatens to reverse these gains with millions more children at risk due to economic hardships and school closures. In terms of sectors, agriculture accounts for 70% of child labor worldwide, with children performing physical, demanding, and often dangerous tasks. All this data is from UNICEF. Thank you.
Thank you very much, St. Austin's. Thank you very much. I see you hit us with one giant ball. If I can just get assistance from technical as well, I think it would be unjust of me rather, to constantly slow the momentum of our young advocates. So at this particular moment, what I will do is I will move on to Charleston and then immediately to Helena without interjecting so that I do not get in the flow and the momentum of these young advocates who are teaching us so well today. So if they can just please prepare themselves, and with the help of our technical, we'll be able to smoothly transition between the two schools of our young advocates. Are we ready at Charleston?
Children be allowed to work if their families opt. Some people may say yes, they should, but I strongly agree that they should not, because children deserve to go to school and to focus on education. Focus on education to break the cycle of poverty. Working at a young age can be harmful to their physical and mental health. Child labor often leads to exploitation and denies children the rights to a childhood. Thank you.
Is it more important for children to go to school or to help their families by working? We agree school is more important. Education is key to improving a child's future opportunities and escaping poverty. Without education, children may be trapped in a low-paying jobs for their whole life. School helps children develop skills and knowledge that are necessary for success. We disagree. Helping their families is more important. Some families cannot survive without their children's income. Education may not always guarantee a job, especially in countries with limited opportunities. Working early helps children understand the value of money and hard work. Thank you.
Should companies that use child labor be punished? Yes, they should. Using child labor is unethical and companies should be held accountable for their actions. Punishing companies will punish them to change their protocols and uphold fair labor standards. Consumers deserve to know that the products they buy are made without exporting children. Some would say no, they shouldn't. Sometimes companies don't have control over the whole supply chain, especially in farming industry. If companies are punished, it may affect workers and farmers who rely on the business. Instead of punishment, companies should be supported and to make gradual improvements. But I believe that they should be punished. Should children ever be allowed to work in family businesses? Yes, they should. Working in a family business can teach children useful skills and responsibilities. As long as the worker isn't dangerous or too demanding, it can be a positive experience. Many children help their families by doing chores or working in small family shops, which is common in many cultures. Some would say no, they shouldn't. Even family businesses can overwork children and prevent them from going to school. Children should focus on their education, which will help them and their families more in the long run. There should be strict rules to ensure that all children have the chances to learn and grow, not to work. Thank you.
Should consumers stop buying products made with child labor, even if it means higher prices? I agree, yes, they should. By refusing to buy products made with child labor, consumers send a strong message to companies to change their practices. Higher prices for ethically produced goods ensure that workers, including children, are treated fairly. Supporting ethical brands helps create a better future for vulnerable children.
Is it realistic to completely stop child labor worldwide? Yes, it is realistic. With enough support from governments, companies, and consumers, child labor can be significantly reduced. If poverty is addressed and education becomes more accessible, families won't need to rely on child labor. Organizations are already making progress in reducing child labor in many industries. No, it's not realistic. Child labor is often deeply connected to poverty and social conditions that are difficult to change. In some areas, there aren't enough schools or jobs for families, making, children, making child labor necessary for survival. Stopping child labor completely might push underground, making it harder to monitor and prevent exploitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charleston Hill Primary School. I am sure our advocates at Helena are ready and burning for this opportunity. Please take it away, Helena Schools. All right, could we please get an indication from our Helena Schools technical team if everything is okay and ready to proceed? Okay, lovely. I see our young advocates are in.
Good day to you all. My name is Joshua Dikinya and I am a mover. I am going to support the topic which reads children need to contribute to creating a livelihood for the family and learn the skill. I am supporting this topic because of many reasons like survival and necessity. In poverty stricken areas, children's contributions are crucial for survival. For example, family tasks. Children can help with farming, planting, and harvesting to ensure food security. Skill development. Learning skills through work prepares future careers and self sufficiency. For example, cooking, meal planning, and food nutrition. Poverty alleviation. Child labor helps families escape poverty and improve their economic situation. For example, for health, you can gain money and buy a house. Practical education. Child labor provides hands-on experience and practical skills training. For example, carpentry, woodworking, building, and cabinetry. Family survival. In some cases, child labor is necessary for family survival and well-being. For example, economic survival and financial planning. Economic necessity. In some cases, child labor helps families survive. For example, basic needs. You need food, water, and shelter to survive. Cultural context. In some cultures, child labor is tradition and necessary for family business. For example, in child-headed families, the oldest should take care of the siblings. Regulating overburden. Regulating child labor can ensure safer conditions and fair compensation. For example, safer and health ban. Banning hazardous as asbestos or lead. Thank you. Good day to you all. My name is Brianna Mpori and I am a mover. As we are advocating for sustainability, so skill development, skills enhanced to children to learn skills, trades, and entrepreneurship. Examples are boost confidence and develop problem solving skills. Family bonding. Relationships within families are strengthened and shared responsibilities between families also strengthens family ties. Examples creates long lasting memories, emotional support, and togetherness. Economic empowerment contributes to families' economic stability. Examples green entrepreneurship and socializing with other families. Practical education, hands-on experience, knowledge. Examples provides real-world experience and knowledge. Socialization, socializing with family members, friendliness, cultural events, and community-led conservation. Thank you.
Good day to you all. My name is Liam Chadwana Shetsikide, and I am a mover. Children helping out at home can create valuable opportunities for their growth and development. Economical benefits are financial literacy. Earning pocket money teaches children budgeting, saving, and responsible spending. For example, a child earns $10 a week, uses 50% for saving, 20% for 30% for expenses, and 20% for charitable donations. Entrepreneurship spirit. Starting small ventures encourages, fosters innovation, risk risk taking, and business acumen. For example, a child helps the parents in household chores, helping in preparing for adulthood. Social and emotional benefits. Character building, contributing to the household, yard, and fieldwork. Helps children builds compassion, empathy, and a sense of duty. For example, a, a child, for example, a child helps the mother and father in babysitting and caring for the family. Could help in him or her finding his or her own character in life. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for closing us off on a high there, Helena Schools. I've learned a lot. One of the basis of knowing that you are in a teaching moment or a learning environment is just realizing how much you don't know. These young advocates in this session have made me realize just how much I do not know. My goodness me. I'm going to ask at this particular moment that we come back for our second round. So here's what it will entail. We've heard that our young advocates were able to take us through both sides of this coin, which is child labor, the pro and against, which is why I'm finding my mind a bit all over the place and I'm trying to know which way to go because they've put very solid arguments. At this particular moment, I'm going to ask each and every school to come back for their second round and give rebuttals, maybe on the other side of the coin in regards to how they've presented their argument in the first round. I hope I am clear. With that, I will observe the very first cycle that we did observe, which is St. Austin's kicking us off with the rebuttal session. We will immediately go on to Charleston Hill Primary School and then once again close off with Helena Schools from Zimbabwe. Please, St. Austin's, take us away into the second round of this last activity, which is the debate session. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Amani Njoki once again. To rebuttal the previous debates made, nobody is saying that children should not help out around the house. After all, which child hasn't been asked to help their parents by grabbing the remote? But there's a huge difference between contributing through small chores and having a child be a breadwinner. The moment we expect children to carry the financial weight of the family, we've entered dangerous territory. According to UNICEF, 160 million children are currently involved in child labor globally, with over 79 million engaged in hazardous work. This is not just fetching the remote, that's children mining, working in factories, or toiling in agriculture. In many societies, the line between a child helping and child labor is crossed like it's a casual stroll in the park. Families facing financial hardships might justify their children's work by calling it helping out. But let's not sugarcoat it. Children carrying the burden of a family's finances is not helping out, it's child labor. In sub-Saharan Africa, the issue is rampant, with an additional 16.6 million children being pushed into labor due to poverty and lack of social safety nets. We must remember that making a child work to sustain a household, especially under dangerous conditions, is not an innocent form of contribution, it's exploitation. Play is essential for a child's physical, emotional, and cognitive development. According to the United Nations, they recognize play as a fundamental right. Can you imagine a child missing out on learning how to ride a bike because they're busy working to contribute to their family's financial hardships? That's not just sad, it's tragic, and it's happening to 1 in 10 children worldwide. There's a clear difference between a child contributing to the household and child labor, and unfortunately, in many parts of the world, this line has been crossed with devastating consequences. Children should never be expected to bear the financial burdens of a family. That's what adults are for. Instead, children should be encouraged to learn, grow, and most importantly, play. They are, after all, children, and children should be allowed to act like it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nestor Male. I'm a student at St. Austin's Academy. I'm a representative for the WFTO. So to add on to what my fellow student said, child work and child labor has a very thin line, and a child should not be put through an experience or should not live in a household where they're expected to contribute to bringing food on the table or keeping the lights on. A child should be provided with time and the proper environment to play and educate and attend or receive rather an education. Child work as innocent as it may, child labor, as innocent as it may be sugar-coated, is not right at all, because the exploitation of children when it comes to work like mining or transportation of heavy duty goods and stuff like that. Like that is not the environment a child should be around. A child, yes, a child should be being taught how to cook, or what is this, like my fellow students said, like helping the parents out with finding the remotes and stuff like that. Things that can help them build a sense of responsibility, and also help them understand and see the fact that through their work they're able to reap what they sow. Child labor, on the other hand, is exploiting the energy and time put in by children. They many a times they wouldn't get to see the product of their work. Let's take an example like in DR Congo. Many children who are in the mines mining for lithium and diamonds and all these would get to see the phones and watches and all these jewelry that are made from the resources they pull out of the earth without the proper gear. Thank you.
As the first speaker of St. Austin said, that there's a clear difference between a child contributing to their household and child labor. Imagine asking a 7-year-old if they would want to contribute to household finances. They'll probably ask if they can pay in candy. That's because the children aren't equipped emotionally, physically, or mentally to take adult burdens. We must ensure children are treated as children and not as unpaid workers. Let's focus on creating environments where children can contribute to their household in healthy ways, like doing small chores, learning responsibilities, and developing life skills without crossing into dangerous life-altering labor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, St. Austin's. I think Charleston Hill Primary School is also ready to usher us into their summation on the second round. Charleston Hill Primary, please take it away.
One, two. Child labor is a violation of fundamental rights. Every kid belongs in school, not in the workforce. Education is their right, and we stand firmly against any practice that robs them of their future. Thank you.
1, 2, 3, and
We gotta break the chains, set the children free.
Oozing cool. Thank you very much, Charleston Hill Primary, for closing us off with that very cool closure. We'll go without further ado to Helena Schools as they give us their second and last round of this activity, which is the debate session. Please go ahead, Helena Schools.
Helena.
Drum roll! Thunder! Drum roll! Thunder! Helena! What does that spell?
What does that spell, Helena? Those are the movers from Helena Schools giving us that lovely and fiery closure to their activity 3. With that said, I would like to reiterate I am Zukiso Siko and I feel privileged to have trusted to lead these young advocates driving this conversation. I've learned so much from them. And please remind me, never, ever dare think I can go against any of these young advocates representing the fair trade schools. My goodness me. My goodness me, they are too sharp for my liking. But it does say that our future is secure and bright with these young minds. Thank you to all the people that were involved in actually bringing this together and my colleagues. Without further ado, what I will say as Nzukiso Siko is that it was an absolute gem, and I'll usher in my colleague, Mr. Orbit, who will help us with the credits and the closure. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being amongst you.
Thank you so much, Nsukizo, aka Diba, all the way from South Africa. We really appreciate the wonderful facilitation. I'm just here to say thank you for everyone who have joined us. I'll start with Charleston Hill Primary. Thank you so much, all the way from Pearl City. We were there recently, and you guys were a great host. So a special thanks to Cambridge Schools in Ethiopia. We really appreciate your presence here at the first interaction session, and I know next year the numbers are going to grow. We really appreciate your contribution to the interaction session. I also want to say a big thank you to St. Austin's Academy, Kenya. Thank you for being part of this. We really appreciate. Lacey Technique, all the way from Cameroon, we really say thank you so much. The energy you brought to the room was wonderful. Helena School, what an energy, especially the last one. We really appreciate, plus also the dramatization and everything that you brought into the session. We also like to appreciate our facilitator, Diba, based in Johannesburg, South Africa. We really appreciate what you did. Also, our tech host here in Kenya, Kenji, who is also doing the StreamYard streaming. We really appreciate the good work you're putting. And also all the tech leads that have been facilitating the schools to be able to be here today. We really appreciate your effort, and thank you so much for putting the technology side together for us to have a wonderful interaction session. We can witness that we had a very minimal interruptions here and there, but I think you did a good job. So kudos to our tech leads. Also would like to pass our sincere gratitude to Musa, my colleague, and Bernard. I know he's streaming live somewhere. We really appreciate also for putting the work together. And all the ambassadors for the school, the teachers, thank you so much for the wonderful work, the hard work that you've put to prepare the learners for this day. And also our audience at home, we really appreciate you following us live on YouTube. Please continue supporting these young advocates, and I know they're going to be great. They say, if you want, it's easy to mend or to mentor a child than to repair a broken adult. And the session has been a testament that indeed we already have the knowledge to be able to take them forward. Lastly, I would like to leave us with one word or two words that if you ever see child labor, speak out. So speak out when you see it so that you can be able to translate our information into the real world. So I don't know if Kenji would like to take the photo to bring all the schools on the screen, and then maybe lift our hands and maybe shout, and then he'll take a screenshot of all of us so that we have a wonderful screenshot. But thank you so much. We really appreciate the effort and the wonderful interaction day that we've had. So Kenji, you can direct us from here. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's been a great session. I've learned a lot. So I'm just going to coordinate a group session. So if all of you can come to the screen, Helena, if you guys can come forward closer to the screen, all those who are seated also stand up, come closer to the screen. Come closer to the screen, wherever your webcam is or your camera camera, just come closer. You can stand. That would be easy. Charleston Hill, if you wish, you could stand. Yeah, so that we can get a good, nice camera image. So I'm going to put us on grid view. Aisha, if you're able to turn on your camera, that would be nice. Okay. Yeah, so let's take a couple of screenshots. So on 3, okay, let me just wait for Aisha. Aisha, there you go. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So wait. Let's take another one. Let's take another one. 1, 2, 3. Guys, look into the camera.
Stop.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Maybe we meet our.
You're not ready, bye.
Bye. Bye.